Oh, okay. Yeah. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 21st. The time is 7:33. We now call to order the historic town of Eatonville Town Council meeting. Ms. Bellinger, would you please verify for?
Yes, Councilman Matt,
Here.
Councilwoman Jordan,
Here.
Councilwoman Randolph.
Here.
Vice Mayor Thomas.
Here.
And Mayor Critton.
Present. Let us stand for, I'm sorry. Yeah, let us stand for invocation and pledge allegiance. Sorry, moment of silence. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are now ready for the approval of the agenda. Some amendments for you to consider. Per the clerk's office request, we are being asked to table consent agenda item number 1, which is town council meeting minutes. We are also adding the second half of Dr. Finley's presentation to presentations and recognition to follow PD presentation. Do we have any objections before we approve the agenda?
Just one, if you could agree to move item number 4 under council decisions to wherever above that, maybe after consent, maybe the first decision. Or wherever you feel is appropriate.
Do we want to do that for the public hearing?
That's up to you. I'm prepared whenever you're ready to
Okay.
move it.
Okay, so the tabling of item number 1 under the consent agenda, in addition to presentations and recognition to follow the police department, and the removal of council decision number 4 to be placed after presentations and recognition. Any objection? Right, with the amendments, do I have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda? It's been moved in second. All in favor, please signify with aye. Aye. All opposed? The agenda is approved. We are now ready for presentations.
About the canvas, I'm sorry. Good evening, Council, Mayor, citizens of Eatonville. I'm excited today to bring forth this award that we are proud to present. This is a community partner award. Things we're starting to start here within our department. And this is usually something that we look at and we've been working with a particular stakeholder or business owner, if you will, when it comes to things regarding crime, reporting of crime, and how they've helped us with the handling of it. So tonight, I'd like to bring forth Mr. David Washington. He's the current owner of the Smith Hotel is what it was named. This honor is presented on behalf of the Eatonville Police Department of the observance to the reduction of crime, unity in public safety, and contribution to improve quality of life. This award reflects the core values of our department, which are professionalism, honor, and integrity. And I'd like to make note from our statistics of coming in 23 myself, and up to this point, he has actually reduced crime over 95% within the hotel. That's a crazy number compared to what he walked and he had to prior. So I think you thank Mr. Graham for selling it to the right person. Because he was the right man to come in. You can really see his impact. He reports it, he calls it in, he'll show up, he doesn't mind trespass warning, the whole thing. So Mr. Washington, if you don't mind, Love to thank you for what you have done with us. Appreciate you. If we get a picture with the council, the middle right there in the middle. So you want to speak for? Yes. Council will come around and you take part. It's a public. Agenda. You want me to make some comments real quick? If you.
She's getting from my office. There are more names.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, matter of fact, that's what you know. There you go. All y'all. There's four of y'all.
That's pretty water around. Yeah, lit up that, you know, that.
Out of three.
That's one.
2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. And as the department continues to continue with our hard work here, I would like to say in the future, we're getting ready to put together what I call a CRC, a Community Relations Council. So that's going to be coming forth here in the near future once everything is drawn up, but that's going to be also an opportunity to get some of our residents, some of our stakeholders will come together. We'll be meeting on a bi-monthly basis and just talking about how we can collaborate once we get the whole house going, things like that. Trainings, seminars, bringing stuff into the town that's going to be relevant to what our needs are here. So I thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, council, staff and residents. I'm not sure if there's presentation slides for Juneteenth, but I'll just go ahead and give a brief overview. Again, my name is Dr. Candace Finley. I'm the founder and executive director of Esteem Learning Inc. For the past 3 years, we have partnered with the town of Eatonville to do 1887 Juneteenth. We're now rebranding it to be Eatonville Juneteenth. There'll be a presentation later on, I would say next council meeting, to be able to provide more information. The dates are June 19th and June 20th. June 19th, we will be having the Juneteenth Youth Jam. We're in partnership with the library. They have Grammy Grammy winner Fuge will be performing, and then we'll be coming in with STEAM activities, Juneteenth inspired STEAM activities. We'll also have youth vendors and resources as well. Later on that evening, we have partnered with Macedonia to do the Lift Every Voice and Sing dinner showcase. This is paying homage to the African American Negro spirituals. We haven't been hearing much about it in the church community, and because Eatonville is based, well, Maitland basically around, it's based on the faith. So going back, paying homage to Negro spirituals and how they impacted the community. This is a dinner showcase and fundraiser for the Thomas House, as Esteem Learning Inc. is the fiscal sponsor of the Thomas House. That is the oldest house in the town of Eatonville. And on the 20th, we have the Juneteenth Fest. This is, well, go back. There is a fee for the dinner showcase, as it is fundraiser. It is $100. It includes dinner and a theatrical showcase based on Macedonia's theatrical team. And then so June 20th will be the Juneteenth Fest. We'll have live entertainment, vendors, resources. We have Greek Row. And we have our VIP Freedom Lounge that'll be coming back. We will be bringing a new approach to the Freedom Lounge this year. We have a concept we call the Freedom Cook-Offs. We're inviting chefs around. They will be going head to head on doing their modern twist on old recipes, old Southern recipes. So once they sign up, we provide them with a copy of 2 cookbooks. Don't quote me on the ladies' names, but these are 2 African Americans right after slavery that created Southern cookbooks. And these Southern cookbooks were basically the basis of Southern cooking today. So they'll be using those cookbooks in competition. They'll be able to show the original copy of the recipe, but also their modern twist. There'll be tastings with the VIP package. It'll be $25. It includes the tasting ticket, 2 drink tickets, and reserved seating in the Freedom Lounge. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right.
We are now ready for a presentation by Attorney Shepherd.
All right, thank you. Would you pass these in? I think we'll get that. Well, members of council and citizens, I wanted to tell you, as I did back in 2022, that when I got here, I would stay as long as I was needed or wanted to help the town do what it needs to do. And if I thought I was helpful or that I was able to help you accomplish goals, that I would stick with it as long as it took, including through retirement. And it has been an absolute honor to serve the council and the people in this town, some of whom I've gotten to know well and have a great affinity for. But you know, sometimes it's like old milk, you got to know when to throw it out. And I think milk is the right analogy, if you know what I'm saying. So I wanted to, before I read what I'm about to read, I wanted to make sure that you guys know that when I told you, you wouldn't have to ask me to leave. I would just go when it was time. Sadly, I've come to the conclusion that this is that time. So I want to read this statement. I've handed to the council members a letter of resignation. I'm now given a copy to the assistant clerk. And so here it is. Mayor and council members, I want to briefly address item 4 on the agenda, the termination of my law. It has become clear over the past several days that there is a fundamental difference in approach regarding legal representation and governance between myself and the current majority on council. As town attorney, my role is to provide legal advice grounded in statutory requirements, established process, and the direction of the governing body. Where there is alignment, that works effectively. And frankly, up until relatively recently, I thought that was the case. But where there is not, it becomes difficult to serve the town in the manner expected. And given the current circumstances, I have already advised the mayor and the CAO that I will be stepping away from my role as town attorney effective tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to serve the town way more than you know. It has been a true honor. That I'm here almost 4 years later is a shock to me. And I mentioned that the night y'all hired me. That I don't know how I got here, but I'm glad I'm here. But this is not how I hoped it would end. But this is an important and historic place, and I do not want to stand in the way of its progress. Because the opportunities that are in front of you are great. And you're being led at the staff level by some really good people, some really smart people, some really qualified people. And that is very important to your future. And so I do not want to be an obstacle to any of that. And so I'm committed to ensuring professional and orderly transition. I've assured Mr. Daniels, and he called me earlier today, that if he needs a transition period or whatever, I will do whatever I need for whatever long that I'm needed, just like I said before. But I think this will be my last appearance at the meeting unless a miracle occurs. So with that, I wanted to relieve you of one less item on your agenda. And unless you have any questions for me, I will take my leave.
Do we have any questions from the council?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very concerned about, but thank you very much for giving us your, you being honest about your resignation. And, me personally, I do accept it. But I would like to ask about, are there any other pending, issues, workloads, or anything in this transition that you have been working on that would have to be transferred to another legal counsel?
That the answer is, on a daily basis, I get contacted by the town to the administration or various departments for various issues. Whether it's Chief Murray or most recently and fairly frequently Miss Monday, because of all the grants and the agreements that have to be reviewed associated with them, the contracts and so forth. And so the answer is yes. But do I have any pending this minute that I can at least think of? She might remember more than I do. But at the moment, I don't have any that I remember in my inbox that I'm supposed to review and get back. I did not stop working on Eatonville stuff until I got the car to drive here today, for the very simple reason that that would not be appropriate. I'm not leaving stuff hanging. But I will certainly get with Miss Monday or Mr. Daniels and If anybody in an apartment says, hey, you forgot me, you need this, then we can work that out, transition it, do whatever you'd like me to do. That's the way it should be.
Okay, now, on your previous contract that you gave us about
Mhm.
4 years ago, I believe it stated in there, that we are to give you a 30-day notice.
It didn't,
That-
and it doesn't. You can
But
fire me
it doesn't
today.
really matter at this point because you're resigning. Is that
Correct, it wouldn't matter anyway, but it's not lawful.
Yes,
It's not lawful for an attorney to require notice to be fired. The rule is, subject to someone wanting to argue about it, the rule is that the client is entitled to have the lawyer of the choosing at all times. That's the rule.
Any other questions?
I won't get into the details of everything that, but it's great that you accept your resignation, because from the point that, you know, was clear to terminate you, but you put your resignation in, otherwise, so with that being said, I heard you say something about not being lawful in terms of, what I did, last time I checked. Anytime we feel the need to, terminate anyone, you put it on the, agenda. And the agenda states the time that you're supposed to leave. If you're supposed to leave in 30 days, leave in 30 days, but leave in a 30-day period. That's not unlawful. So,
I don't know what you're speaking of, but if you're thinking that I said something about your putting it on the agenda being unlawful, I did not say that. Tonight or
about
anything.
unlawful.
I did not.
It's
say
not
that.
being lawful,
I did not say,
which means unlawful.
I did not say any of that.
Okay, well, that's all I got.
I have a question, Attorney Shepherd, considering that there is active litigation that the town is involved in, where there have been resolutions passed to designate you specifically to address and represent the town in those matters outside of your duties as town council or, general counsel, can you tell us how we navigate that situation, if it requires any additional attention, or if we're set as it stands?
There was is the key word, an emergency motion for temporary injunction pending. The judge, without hearing a word from anybody, just reviewed it and saw it was inadequate and threw it out. So it's been denied. There's not been a subsequent motion filed, and whether there will be, I do not know. In fact, I think I saw a subsequent filing saying that a motion would be withdrawn, but that was after the court had already ruled it was not proceeding. In terms of the lawsuit, as I have said before, you all have 100% control of the lawsuit. All you have to do is instruct the lawyer who filed it to dismiss it. That is your purview, or you can choose to continue with the lawsuit. But the problem with doing that is lawyers are supposed to take guidance from their clients, and that would be you all. If you are not given the guidance and the lawsuit continues, that's one way it could go. But again, there's nobody opposing what's being asked for unless there's someone appearing. And it would seem unusual to have two lawyers for the same town, even though it's different entities, spending town money, whether you consider it CRA money or town money, it's certainly coming from your taxpayers, to fight a lawsuit in court when all you got to do is decide which way you want to go. And it's my understanding, based on the last CRA meeting, that the decision was to grant essentially by your decree the relief that was requested, which was to rehire Mr. Johnson effective immediately. That was one of the things asked for. And the other thing was to enjoin the town permanently from interfering with CRA. And again, that is a decision for you all to make as to whether you think that is the right way to go. But as a legal matter, if you said a majority of you go fight the lawsuit, technically, I guess it could be done. I just don't understand it.
I don't have any other questions.
I thought you said it was thrown out, or it's just.
The motion,
dismissed.
okay, good clarification. So there's two things. One is the actual lawsuit. It's a petition for declaratory relief and injunctive relief. That's the actual lawsuit. Without that fancy terminology, we would call it a complaint. It's the document that starts the lawsuit. As a separate filing, there was a motion for temporary injunction with a request for an emergency hearing.
Mhm.
Without any hearing, the judge reviewed the motion, found it deficient, and denied it. So there's no pending motion or request for an emergency hearing on a pending motion. And the last pleading I saw on the docket was a filing made by the attorney to withdraw the request for injunctive relief. So that's where I think it stands unless something was filed today. But the case, as a case, is still pending, meaning that either with opposition, if that's what you choose to do, or without opposition, the court is going to be asked to enjoin this body from having any involvement with the other body on which you serve, CRA.
So then, according to who they're trying to appoint as the attorney, he would have to represent us and the other entity.
Well, if
When it
he
comes
is
to
appointed to
this.
succeed me, that is what I understand. Again, given the adverse nature between, in theory anyway, the parties, that would typically be considered a conflict. But, you know, I'm out of the advising business now when it comes to you guys.
You. You're out if we accept your resignation, or you just giving it to us and tell us to accept it.
No, I'm giving it to you because I can count votes.
So we gonna vote on this, or you?
Well, you don't have to. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like when someone is overstayed their welcome in your house, the smart thing for them to do is to leave. And the best way to determine that is if the advice that you've been giving for 4 years all of a sudden falls on deaf ears, then that's the time to go. And that's what's happening.
With that being said,
Well, with that being said, I'm gonna let you know I don't accept your resignation.
okay, I heard him saying that, he doesn't give any advice. But you still sitting here,
I'm just waiting to leave.
okay, well.
I
So
somebody
that
said,
being said, we can go to the next, thing on the list by appointing,
We're not ready to that yet. We just wanted to move that item up for presentation. We still have citizen participation, public hearing, and then we raise for council decision. Yeah, they can, unless, I'm sorry, unless you had.
I'm ready to move to the next.
any more questions for me?
One question. So, Mayor and Council, I understand the parameters that's going on right now. I also gotta say that you have planning department, you have grants and all that. I would ask during this time, if y'all want to accept Attorney Shepherd's resignation, also that we allow him to work along with whoever you all choose to be the next council as a transition period. There's a lot of things happening, and if you just let someone take their hands off a wheel, you don't know which direction it's gonna go. And you gotta be very cognizant that you're against timelines and all that, so if you all make the decision that you all want a different direction, I would say during that time, as proper planning, that we should allow Attorney Shepherd and whoever y'all choose to be the next council work together during the transition, and I'm saying at least 30 to 60 days, at least needs to be, you're gonna have to cover that bill for 30 to 60 days. Because you take your hand off and something happens, I think we're gonna be in a bigger consequence than you think.
Those are the problems that we've been having moving forward, they're not collaborating with attorneys together. And I can't speak for them, but I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation before, and this is one of the more, or the reason why I went in the direction I went, because there's no collaboration with the town. You know, going with the CRA, letting him know in conjunction on everything that's going on also, especially with everything that have came down the pipeline, while we're in the position that we're in. Collectively, I think they do need to work together. I want to do everything in my power to make sure that I'm protecting the integrity of the town also. That's why I moved in the direction I moved in, because I feel like we need to turn a new leaf, because Attorney Shepherd, I respect you, but I don't feel like you're doing things that's gonna be contagious and successful for the town moving forward, because especially with the OCPS school board situation, I have a very distinct problem with that and how that went, especially with you and the former mayor, but I don't want to get too much in detail with that. I said what I said, I'm willing to let them work together for the next 60, 90 days or whatever to collaborate why he can transition Mr. Jackson that is into the role of, Mr. Shepherd, where he's saying that now. This is like the first time it's happened. Let's make that understood, okay? We replaced attorneys plenty of time, the time I've sat up here. And don't make it seem like it's some kind of mockery because I'm moving forward with time. And then on top of that, he resigned. Okay, before we even put the motion on the floor, he resigned. It's something that I wanted to push forward with doing, but he resigned. And on that behalf, I don't have no ill will intent against anybody. I just feel like if you're in the job and somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do in terms of your recollection of how you want things done in a timely manner, I think you need to turn a new leaf. There's no different than, let me finish speaking. There's no limitations to what the person can do. And I understand we got a lot of things going on that's consistent with the grants and things like that, but you knew that though as the CAO, because I put this on the agenda almost 2 weeks ago. Why you been called in and then, and Mr. Jackson and sat them both down as a CAO, and say, hey, listen, guys, I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but this is where we're at now. And I want you accountable also, just like we're gonna be held accountable for anything that I do. And if people don't feel like I'm the one that need to sit up here, the elections matter.
So, I'm glad you said that, Councilman Matt. I don't
I
mind,
told people about that too,
I
in
don't
terms
mind,
of correspondence and email.
I don't mind being held accountable, but I will say to you, do I have any authority over Attorney Jackson?
No. No.
You could have responded to my email that you did. So I got a very strong problem with you also. You understand?
And that's fine, Councilman, but I would tell you, I have no authority over that. And I do understand authority and chain of command. So if I don't have authority to talk to Attorney Jackson in that aspect, I'm not gonna do that. And to further give you clarity, I did have both attorneys together. So you're speaking out of term that you don't know. I did have both of them together. I don't know if that was communicated to you.
But
Okay. So you
you
just,
just told me that you ain't got no authority to go to the cell,
But-
right?
you
You just tell me that in the same breath?
do I have permission to? Okay. So after the last meeting, both attorneys came to my office and we talked briefly and then they went separate ways. And what was the first thing I said? We need to work through this. So you come today and now you're trying to attack me, and I'm just letting you know. but also,
Attack you.
and that's fine, Councilman. But also let you know, I'm trying to work through a situation. As the CAO, I'm trying to look out for the historic town of Eatonville. Personal agendas, I care nothing about. I care about the people.
Neither do I.
I care about the people. So what I'm doing right now is putting a transition in place to ensure that this town don't go into further litigation and other things. That's what a proper leader would do. So that's why I asked, could we keep Attorney Shepherd alone? And if you decide to bring Attorney Jackson along, that's fine. But there should be a transition. If you have the opportunity to transition.
I have no opposition against that. I never said that I didn't want him. I actually said I concur that if he chooses to, that's his choice. Like, that's his choice. If he chooses to sit and want to work with the town and transition Attorney Jackson, if he's selected to sit in his role as our town attorney. And I said only on an interim level until we get a permanent attorney that I feel like is gonna have the best interest of the town. And it's my opinion. I don't feel like Mr. Shepherd has the best interest of the town of Eatonville. And that's my opinion. I'm gonna stick with it, just like you. Everybody got an opinion, okay? I can't be subject to sit here and tell them or what their opinion should be. This is my opinion. And I've been feeling this way for a while now, you know what I'm saying? But like I said before, I'm gonna protect Eatonville just like you are. I'm gonna protect the integrity of Eatonville just as well as the board that I sit up there with. You know, all the things that has transitioned and took place thus far, and anybody that knows, they can sit here and tell you, especially dealing with the former mayor, the things that have transpired and went on without any of this board even knowing anything about it. That's very problematic. And then for the town attorney to say he don't know or have no recollection of anything, especially with the MOU that had taken place, going behind the citizens' back, as well as this board. I sit up here with an entire brand new board now, besides Councilwoman Randolph. Everybody's up here brand new. And for us to sit here and get slapped in the face
with the MOU that we had any idea about, and in quotation, Attorney Shepherd said he didn't know anything about it either, which is more problematic. I know we got a super mayor government in terms of mayor, but come on, man, there's morals and standards that you gotta abide by also. You know, and that's why the lawsuits are being put upon us also, well, not put upon us, but OCPS. You know, so these are the things and all the matters that we gotta fix and address. And at the end of the day, don't let me tell you I told you so when things happen in this community, and I'm gonna sit here and say I told you so. I don't want that to occur, I don't want that to happen. Stand for something, fall for anything, I'm not falling for anything. I'm not gonna be no duck, I'm not gonna be no, I'm not gonna sell my soul for nothing. But at the end of the day, I wanna make sure that we're getting the proper legal advice that we can get. Now, like I tell Attorney Shepherd all the time, listen, you are counsel. I trust your instincts to tell us everything lawful that we can do and cannot do, but I don't trust everything that you say also. It's just my opinion. We all make mistakes, we all, entitled to, drop the ball every now and then. And he's admitted to that, you know what I'm saying, just like I admit to a lot of things, but I wanna be held accountable also. If you feel like we're not doing something unjust, or you feel like we're doing anything unjust. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm gonna protect the integrity of this town, myself, and this board that I sit up here with. And like I said, I don't wanna get too much in detail with it because it can, be one of them type of nights that we can just go throughout the meeting, but I don't want that to happen. I respectfully respect his resignation, and that could have been up to this board to decide if they wanted him or not. It ain't just me, I'm only one vote, but I just made a recommendation. That's all they can do. I can't sit here and forcefully tell somebody to leave. That's why you got a majority vote up here. You got 5 people that sit up there that make educated decisions for this town. And I want to make sure that I'm making the best educated decision, dot my I's, cross my T's on every event, making sure that we're getting everything that we deserve to be successful in this community also. There's a lot of things going on right now. There's 100 acres across the street. There's 17 down here across from Kellina Park. We're dealing with so much right now, so I want to make sure that we're moving the needle and doing things that's gonna be contagious for our community.
I have a question.
Vice Mayor? Okay.
I apologize if I offend anyone, but to always come to this council meeting, we have therapy sessions. We're not therapists. We are here to do what's best.
Please hold your comments, please hold your comment.
If you can, Mayor, let's move on with whatever we're gonna do next. If we have to vote, let's do that. But I don't want to offend anyone. Like I said, I'll apologize if I do, but we're here to conduct the business of the town, not therapy.
Attorney Shepherd, I have one additional question.
Yes, sir.
There is a timeline on a response to the filing. Do we know how many days are left on that?
I do not know off the top of my head, but probably about a week and a half. It's typically 20 days unless you get an extension.
I acknowledge your submission of your resignation. If it is amenable to this board, I say that we leave this item on council decision and potentially amend the resolution to be appropriate to the situation. Do we have any objection to that?
That's totally fine, because it's up to the board.
Okay,
It's not up to me. Let's
If
put
that-
that on
if that's
it's not up
the
to me.
if that's the case, let's go ahead and move forward. We can save additional discussion for that portion. Attorney Shepherd, are you amenable to staying in your role until we get to that portion of the meeting? It is totally up to you unless you wanna come back for conversation at that point. Let me,
Is that your call?
I don't wanna get into or council decisions right now. I'm simply offering that instead of a resolution to terminate, that we amend the resolution to accept the resignation with potential discussion.
That's fine with me because the whole point of the resignation is not to have to go through the process of being voted out when I'm more than willing to go. It's just not that situation. I've been doing this for 42 years. I have a reputation that speaks for itself. I have a client list that you all should know well. And I can only stay and help where people to listen to me and accept my help. It is okay that if you don't, that is the whole point. I could stay here and I could continue to have brouhahas with whoever the council is for the other board, but that makes no sense to me. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of effort. And if the other attorney is who you're going to listen to, then that is your freedom. I have no issue with that.
Councilwoman Randolph.
Okay, I understand everything very clearly. But I want to ask a question. Right now, at this point, Attorney Shepherd, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In the event, if another attorney becomes our town attorney, whether or not it's an interim or whatever, are you willing to help to navigate things for the next 30 days? So that way you all can come together and meet together to discuss any actions or get an update or
Yes,
whatever
ma'am.
with any attorney, no matter who it is.
Yes, ma'am.
You're willing to do that for 30
As
days.
I said in my statement, I have already spoken about this with Mr. Daniels, and I'll stay and help the transition for as long as I'm needed or wanted, or not. It is fine by me because it's the professional thing to do.
Okay,
It has nothing to do with my feelings about any other human, lawyer, or otherwise. It's simply the right thing to do. And I would do it because that's what I do.
okay. Well, Chair, since Attorney Shepherd has stated that, that's his position, that he will willing to help and give him a 30-day period, and he will retain his compensation that's already in place. And then I would ask that put a motion on the floor for that, if you can.
Do you want to amend,
Yes.
Yes,
the resolution down the line?
why he won't go through the theory of thinking that he's just been outside, if this majority votes go the other way, we'll accept his resignation, right? With the willing to, work with the, whoever's gonna be serving as interim to, solve and, do whatever matters we need to be done with the lawsuits, grants, or what have you, until we can catch up to the point of getting, lined up with everything that we need to get lined up with as a town. But, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Is that your motion, Councilwoman?
Yes, but I have something else I want
Yes,
to
ma'am,
add
continue.
on after this.
After this,
Yeah.
As a
I
part of
have-
this
I have
or
something
down?
else I wanted to add. After we do this motion, I have something else I want to bring up that maybe we wanna make a change on the agenda as far as the agenda is concerned.
The agenda has already been approved.
No. Let me tell you where I'm going with this, and we can come back to that motion.
Okay.
Because this process is already in place where Mr. Shepherd stated that he was resigning. This is voluntarily. This is not by us, this is by him, okay? So what we're gonna have to do in order to fill that gap, he already stated that he's ready to leave. So we have to fill that gap, so we have to move number 5 up in order to make sure that we have adequate coverage by legal counsel.
Right.
You all understand, by legal counsel, because right now, the legal counsel items is at the last entry on the agenda. So we have to take care of that legally.
But I thought he said that if we're voting and then we're voting for him to stay 30 days, we don't need number 5.
Well, we don't know whether or not he wants to stay here.
Him working us
One at a
alongside.
time, y'all, one at a time, please. Councilwoman
No,
Randolph.
he said he was ready to leave. Okay, Mr. Shepherd, maybe I
No,
misunderstood.
no, you didn't misunderstand. To be clear, I assumed I was going to answer a few questions and walk out the door.
Right, yes,
That's what typically a resignation would mean.
right,
Not to be mean, not to be
right.
anything other than that's typically the way it would work. And the only reason I asked that it be moved to the top of the agenda is simply because I have a meeting at 9 a.m. in Fort Myers and it's a 3.5-hour drive.
Mhm.
And that's the reason. The only reason I'm here tonight, instead of already being in Fort Myers, is because I knew that this is something I need to handle in person rather than send Ryan or Patrick or Andrew or any of the other board certified lawyers in my office to cover this. This thing has to be done personally, which is why I did it. I only ask as a favor that it be done sooner rather than later, because it's a long drive to Fort Myers.
Absolutely. So why don't we just go ahead and just move forward? and move number 5 up, so that way we have something in place and Mr. Shepherd can leave. No, I don't mean that to be mean. No, 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 no.
With the agreement to
No, no,
work
no.
alongside
With
the
the agreement.
interim attorney for 30 days. Right, is that just been?
Whatever time is
30
necessary,
days, 60 days, like,
whatever, doesn't matter, whatever that you guys want us on.
Here is the issue, council. If council decision number 5 does not pass,
We don't have no period.
no. If number 5 does not pass,
right,
you do not have an interim unless I invoke executive powers to do an emergency hire. This
And you-
meeting
and you
can,
have that
I'm
right.
not done, this meeting can function without legal. And he can still work alongside whoever comes in, whether we approve number 5 or whether we bring somebody back.
but that's my recommendation.
I understand, but I think we need to be cognizant of that. And in approving number 5, because I did not want to get into the weeds with decisions right now, because we have an entire agenda ahead of that. With the approval of number 5, we are faced with addressing conflicts of interest. So again, my issue with just throwing this out there is not just coverage, but conflict.
Is that your opinion?
No, it's fact. And it's supported.
You show me the
Chapter
facts.
164, check it out. Outside of
Oh,
that,
you said that-
outside of that, even if this was, because I was ready to discuss this when we got there. As a courtesy to Attorney Shepherd, we are moving it up. And I think out of due diligence, we are having an appropriate conversation about how we get through the rest of the meeting. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page and that we're covered throughout the meeting, not just for the public hearings. But if we get to 5 and it don't pass,
I think if we could, Mayor, have the, person that I'm looking to have put in the interim spot, get to the podium while we can ask him the question, saying that it's a conflict of interest. Get it, being that he's an attorney and he's a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know the law. Let him explain to us if it's a conflict of interest, because if it is a conflict of interest, I would have opposition against that, you understand? So if he can get to the podium and explain to us if it is a conflict of interest, I will have a different take on it. I will. So we can have him get to the podium and ask him a serious question in terms of this is a conflict of interest. We won't even have to go down the direction.
I'll
It's
just hear
relevant.
request.
I have a motion.
If it's okay with this board,
I have a motion.
if it's okay with this board, we will entertain Councilwoman Randolph's motion.
Okay.
And then we will amend the agenda to have a discussion now. Councilwoman Randolph, your motion, please, once more.
Okay, my motion is to ask for an extension for Attorney Shepherd for 30 days.
As
As
collaboration.
long as it's-
Yes, as a collaborator, yes.
We have a motion on the floor. It has been moved. Do we have a second? 3, 2, 1. Motion dies for lack of second. Attorney Shepherd, you are free to go. Thank you so much for this service.
You if you need.
All right.
All right, that takes us through presentations and recognition. We are ready for citizen participation. We're gonna.
First, we have Michelle Ford.
Now, okay, hold on, before moving forward, Mayor, so
You want to do it after citizen participation? We've already.
before we get to end of the decision,
Before public.
it needs to be addressed.
We can do it right over there.
Wait, don't start yet. Don't start yet. All right, I gotta have somebody hold my sign.
Ms. Dunn.
Can you hold it?
Yeah, I
And
called
hold
her.
this one. Oh, wait, oh, no, this the right one, that's the right one. Oh, wait, let me show y'all. Cliff is right, we stand and fight. Jackson filed the case, no authority, no trust, no role for Jackson here with us. Boy, this council. Some of you guys, I thought that we were gonna actually do right this time, but we decided to go with whoever we're listening to. When the people are not a priority in government, there's a problem. When there are questionable actions in government, there's a problem. When public trust is broken, there's a problem in government. This elected body is facing a serious trust and accountability issue that requires leaders who are willing to stand up for the people, leaders who do not ignore concerns or conceal problems, but instead work to address and resolve them transparently. It was interesting what you said, Councilman Mack. That when you see something is wrong, you do something about it. Well, what happened to Mr. Johnson using a credit card at Bahama Breeze? What happened when Mr. Johnson spent $10,500 on an appraisal that you didn't even give him approval for? Matter of fact, Attorney Jackson was working not because the board approved it, but Mr. Johnson. When are you gonna handle that? Never, huh? You get the attorney that filed the case on us to represent us on the town side. Even a teddy bear know that ain't worth it. You don't do that. How dare you say you are a council person and this is how you conduct yourself? You're gonna sit here and tell us in here you're doing right for the people. That's not right. Mr. Cliff told you the truth. No disrespect, Attorney Jackson does well in his field, which is personal attorney. He's a trial attorney. Mr. Cliff did local municipality law. He was on the CRA, which the same one you're certified, you go to the classes for. How dare you do that? So now you're gonna fill it with somebody who don't have government experience? And you want us to trust what you do? No, that's not correct. What you should have had done, and you were rude to even put that termination on. When are you gonna start working for the people? When are all of you guys gonna start working for the people? You fired someone that had more experience than he has. But you're gonna tell us you're doing what's right. But I'm not even gonna waste my time on that, because you know what? If you have any morals, as you said, you would have Mr. Johnson. He filed that case because he wanted to divert their attention from his wrongdoings. Handle that. And the next thing I want to say in the final point. You want to play around with that hunger for property and think, hey, we're gonna join in a lawsuit and we're gonna get it back. If you read the news, OCPS is about to close more schools this upcoming school year. Do you think if we miss out on this deal, they're gonna sell it to you guys? You're crazy. They're gonna take that money to the highest bidder and put it in their pocket to make sure they can make their reserve. While you're here, you're gonna sit and tell the people what? Well, we thought it was gonna work out. It didn't work out. Learn and read and do better. Thank you.
Joy Harvey.
I have something.
Public participation, we'll hold comments to that.
The Cro-Magnon Imbecile Award goes to. Actually, it's Cheatonville. That's another story. So the man that just walked out of that door was the smartest man in the room. And all I can say is now the smartest man in the room is a woman. A few women, as a matter of fact. We are hiring the attorney for Mike Johnson, head swindler and CRA, who filed a lawsuit against us, in my opinion, with no standing. The board did not vote on it, to sue ourselves. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. And no one that I'm aware of on the board, well, I think on the CRA board, I think Queen Angela Johnson called the vote, which did not get a second. I believe that she was interrupted and the discussion was diverted. It's so stupid. I hate to use the word. I don't know of another word. We're suing ourselves because Mr. Jackson filed a lawsuit with us suing us. And Councilman Mack thinks he should be the attorney to protect us from us or him. I don't know. It seems to be a conflict of interest to me. Maybe it's not, but I will tell you this. I sat here when we were fighting about the council giving Mayor Gardner a kiss my ass on the way out the door moment by convening an emergency session after the election when Mayor Critton was elected and Vice Mayor Thomas to force a rehire of Mr. Johnson, CRA director who is not here, in spite of the will of the people. So there's no such thing as the people. It's like, we're up here, we're kings, and we're gonna do what the fuck we want, and we dare y'all to stop us. Because we keep saying the same thing. They don't listen, they don't care. And like you, Ms. Thomas, I just be holding my head all the time. I just have to hold my head. It makes no sense. But now we want to remove the only protection we've had with the man who is renowned throughout the state. And we're going to hire, the suggestion is to hire Mr. Jackson, who is suing us and having us sue us and look like total idiots. Oh, not only that, I made a statement that since 1994, this other client, Mr. Johnson, has been documented as just causing a mess, creating swindling, stealing from me personally. So I can say the word stealing, you can sue me if you want to, okay? I'm saying, because it's true. The best defense against a lawsuit, my attorney said, is the truth. And when it's his time to talk, he says, I am mistaken, basically calling me a liar, saying what I'm saying isn't true. But this is who you want to represent the town. It makes absolutely no sense. Anybody with common sense can see that. I'm not impugning any of Mr. Jackson's other stuff that he does, but he called me a liar. He's a liar. I'm not lying. There's not one person here who can say anything about me lying. I'm up here at the behest of my ancestors and the people in this town that cannot represent themselves over this buffoonery. And I don't apologize. Don't nobody have to like me. I do understand. There's a thing, a rule that we approved, I guess, where the CRA director can pretty much spend like $7,500 on his own to whoever he wants with certain parameters, but basically he can just hand out money. That in itself is ridiculous. He says he answers to no one. He has bullied the mayor, accosted her on the sidewalk for going to the bank. That's not a problem. That's a problem for me. It's a problem. He's still doing stuff like that right now. So I'm gonna go because it doesn't matter what I say. Up here is not heard, and I'm hoping you guys hear me. And if that means we have to gather people together, as NY said to me, Joyce, the government belongs to the people. So that means we have to take it back. Take it back. But to continue this ridiculousness, we're still suing ourselves. This has been going on. And Cliff will say, this is the law. Then he will get another response that says, well, it could be the law, but this AG says this and this AG says that. And Cliff is like, this is just the law. That's it. I'm out.
For clarity, a resident yielded time to Ms. Arby, so she had 5 minutes.
Thank you for the clarity.
Next we have Bruce Antone.
All right, good evening, Mayor Critton. Good evening, councilwomen. My name is Bruce Antone, State Representative for District 41. I do not represent Eatonville, but I've been over here involved in stuff since 1992. So I kind of feel like I'm a part of it. The reason I'm here today is to talk about the Black History Museum. 4 years ago, I passed legislation to preferably to designate Eatonville as the site for a Black History Museum, the Florida Museum of Black History. Now I see three of my partners here, Councilwoman Ware, Angela Johnson, and Dr. Finley. So they were up in Tallahassee fighting with me. The reason I'm here today is to ask you all if you all would like to partner with me to go to Orange County, the Tourist Development Tax Board, and to see if we can't secure $30, $40, $50 million to build a museum here in the town of Eatonville. So I'm going to leave this with the town clerk. I only brought 4 copies, but it is a description of what the Florida Museum of Black History would be. And just so you know, I passed the legislation 4 years to create a Black History Museum. And 4 years later, we are still fighting because the legislature has not designated a site. So this year I had a bill to create 3 Florida Museums of History: the Florida Museum of History at Eatonville, Florida Museum of History at Opelika, and the Florida Museum of History at St. Augustine, which is where it does need to go. Eatonville is the ideal place for it. So if you all are interested in partnering with me, because I'm going to start this effort up again over the summer, I'm sure somebody will reach out to me from the town of Eatonville, and we're going to go make this thing happen. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ryan Novak.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the community. I try to call balls and strikes whenever I can, so I hope that I can hopefully give clarity, interpretation to things that have happened and things that are going on. On the CRA side, the executive director operates at the behest of the board. The executive director can give direction to staff. That does include the attorney. So at the direction of the executive director, the attorney can take action, and that was all done per the bylaws of the CRA, up to snuff, procedurally, totally fine, no conflict of interest there. So just want to make that clear. The MOU was brought up. It's important to also recognize that on the town side, the former mayor signed the MOU, acknowledged bond. That is not on behalf of the town. That is not representing the town. That is simply an acknowledgement of the MOU. You look at those signatures on the other fields, Dr. Phillips Charity, OCPS, they are all on behalf of their entities themselves. Make no mistake, the MOU on the town side was acknowledged by, simply put, that it's not legally binding for the town. Thank you for moving the minutes off of the agenda. They were incomplete, so none of us had the opportunity to review them. It's been said before, guys, please do not lose focus. That laser focus needs to be on impact fees because development is coming in one shape or another, and we still don't have them shored up. So knowing where they are and making sure that that maintains our focus is very important to all of us here in Eatonville, because that matters to the tax base and the revenue that we're going to generate moving forward. As a tax-paying resident of Eatonville, Mr. Shepherd is not here, but I do not accept your resignation, Mr. Shepherd. I do not accept your resignation. Thank you.
Next, we have James Williams.
Good evening to the mayor and to the council, town council. I do have current concerns about the resolutions that was put in place for the termination of Shepherd and for the hiring of Attorney Jackson. Just given the active litigation deadlines that as April 9th of 2026, that there is a 20-day response window. So currently we are in day 12, so there are only 8 days left of that. And given the situation, I do not believe that if Attorney Jackson could represent the town to be able to file a response within the 20-day time with that, I could be wrong. I do think that it's questionable timing. There is no clear administrative or logical benefit to changing the representation during such a narrow and sensitive window. Moving forward with the change now suggests that external priorities are being placed ahead of the town's immediate legal security. The knowledge and transition gap, any new firm will require a significant period to review the case and provide competent advice. Attempting this transition while the 20-day clock is ticking leaves the town's interest unprotected and lacks due diligence required for such a major shift. Ethical and conflict oversight, given the overlapping board memberships between the town council and the CRA,
A rush transition avoids the rigorous and transparent conflict of interest checks necessary to provide the integrity of both boards. So I do strongly urge the council to prioritize the legal standing by delaying any action of this resolution until the current litigation deadlines have been satisfied and logical, stable transition plan is established. Thank you.
Last we have Dwayne Rackard.
Mayor, Councilman, residents of Eatonville. I'm here today. I wanted to give a vote of confidence to Mr. Shepherd, but obviously he turned in his resignation. Some of you guys who are sitting on this board need to turn yours in. Mr. Mack, Ms. Randolph. If it was up to me, you'd be out the door. Personally, out the door. Professionally, out the door. I've sat here, wasted over 20 hours of my time going in circles, listening to you bicker, go in circles, not protect our town, but protect a friendship. It's over. Residents are tired of listening to nonsense, listening to the bicker. It's time to get down to business. Mr. Jackson said the other day that he doesn't represent a liar. Attorneys represent liars daily. I think you know a liar, and I think you know a liar, and pretty soon, if you don't turn in your resignation, you'll be following that line. Thank you.
That was the last citizen participant.
Before we move on to the public hearing, Councilwoman Randolph, you had a comment you wanted to make?
Yes, I wanted to make that, we come to the meetings, but I think we also need to understand that, we need to be respectful, even though we may have disagreements. But I think the sign that I've seen, posted here in the meeting, I think this disrupts the meeting. And, I don't think it should be tolerated in our meetings. So as far as standards of conduct, Mayor, I am relying upon you to get this under control and this not to be allowed in our rooms.
I will respond by saying that public participation is just that, with the exception of extremely vulgar or direct language that is threatening. I will not restrict a constituent from saying what they need to say, the same way I will not restrict you all from saying what you need to say. Thank you for your comments. Director Mack, I did make accommodations to move council decisions above public hearing. Are you still amenable to that?
Yes, well, my reason for saying that is because I want to make sure that we do have legal,
For the public hearing? Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying, because we'll be doing ourselves injustice and we'll be totally out of, you know what I'm saying? Ethics will be out of compliance if we don't have an attorney sitting in that capacity while we're making decisions for the time. But I want to make sure that we'll push, and even if we get to a point of not approving who I recommend, we will have to probably table these items. Because we can't move forward with making any decisions without counsel.
Is it just, do you want to move both council decisions before public hearing? Because I know two of them are tied, or do you just want to do
Yes.
just 5?
No, I think 4 and 5 is associated with each other with the agreement with Attorney Shepherd before leaving, that he would be, you know what I'm saying, able to set aside the interim attorney if we do choose, or whoever we choose, right? So, but I'm recommending that we choose who I selected. And it's up to the board, it's totally up to the board. So I want to make sure that we're having legal counsel before making any decision. So
I have this recommendation. We can move council decision number 5 prior to public hearing.
okay,
And table council decision number 3 pending the results of the public hearing.
okay.
And And then if we need to have further discussion, I am open to that as well. Do I have any objection to those amendments? No objection?
No.
Okay. And then we will go ahead with council decision number 5. The approval of resolution 2026-27, I'm sorry. Did you still want to do number 4?
Yes, because it's gotta be associated with what we're trying to accomplish with having him as an interim, and we wanna make sure that we're getting, all of the, legal advice that we can get from Attorney Shepherd to, advocate anything that the interim is gonna be doing moving forward with everything that's, coming down the pipeline with, all the different things you got with grants and lawsuits and things of that nature. So we wanna make sure we're protecting ourselves in the town while, moving forward with positioning these people.
For,
So we'll put 5 and then we'll put 4. Being that he's already agreed upon, and if this board decides not to do that, we could seek other counsel outside of Eatonville also to help facilitate anything that we need to facilitate and helping the interim, if that makes sense.
If I can interrupt that for a minute, a resignation has been tendered, so that person's not there, so I think number 4 is irrelevant now. If you decide to do the transition, that's a totally different motion, so I don't think number 4 has to be voted upon because that's irrelevant, the person has resigned. So how would you terminate somebody who resigned?
I think the language that I'm trying to say is what Ms.
The transition, so I would say.
So we could take the 4 completely out of the equation
And then
and add the language that she wanted to implement.
Come with a different motion for a transition time to allow.
Right.
okay,
So he agreed upon it, so, and the only reason we can move in that direction is because he did agree before
right.
that he would do it. Now, if he wasn't here, we said that we're not subject to do anything, but moving forward with getting someone to serve in that interim spot until we can get a permanent spot. And that's the thing that people need to understand. This is not something that we're looking to do permanent, it's just for interim, you know what I'm saying? Until we can move forward with getting somebody that's gonna feel that, vacancy to help us guide us and put us in a direction that's gonna make sure that we're doing everything in our might to do everything in the diligent way also. So I just want people to be understanding of that also.
So let me put it in motion form. We've already agreed to table item number 3. The motion is to table item number 3 under council decisions, to remove item number 4, and to move item number 5 above public hearing. Do I have a motion? It's been moved. Is there a second? 3, 2, 7. It's been moved in second. All in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We are ready for council decision number 5, the approval of resolution 2026-27, the hiring of attorney Greg Jackson as the interim general town attorney for the town of Eatonville. Absolutely. Ms. Bellinger, the preamble.
One, sorry.
Absolutely.
Resolution 2026-27, a resolution of the town council of the town of Eatonville, Florida, to hire Greg Jackson as the interim general town attorney, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
You have heard preamble, we're entertaining motion.
So move with
It's been moved. Is there a second? 3,
Second.
it's been moved in second. Questions and
Yes, I just wanted to briefly just speak upon this before making our condition on our vote. Listen, this position is only strictly for interim, so we can immediately hire someone to fulfill the need of permanent. I wanna make sure that everybody's getting that understanding versus sitting here thinking that we're just putting someone here replacing, the attorney that's previously sat there. So I just want to address that while people can have some clarity on how, that will work. And I know we gotta do the, will of the people and the scope of the work and getting things done with turning another leaf, I believe. And that's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to theirs. And I respect everybody sitting here, especially my citizens. And I do have some tough decisions to make up here. It's not always easy, but I'm gonna do everything to protect the integrity of myself, the board, and the town. And with that being said, those are all my questions that I had at the time.
You conflict of interest, you spoke about that earlier.
I know, Director Mack wanted to bring Attorney Jackson to the podium. If it is amenable to this board, we can bring him up to address our concerns and our questions. Is there any objection? Attorney Jackson, you'll join us at the lectern. It was me who made the comment. I start with asking, do you identify any conflicts in representing the town and the TOCRA as it relates to pending litigation?
So, the interesting thing is that the persons who have the conflict can waive the conflict. So you can have an attorney who represents two different parties. You see it in divorce cases, you see it when there are two corporations that may have the same attorney. So that is a possibility. However, as was mentioned by the town attorney, Attorney Shepherd, which I'm not sure how information from a 286 meeting got out, but that'll be another issue to deal with. The recommendation has been to forego that proceeding anyways. There's no
What do you mean when you say forego?
I didn't know who the hats.
In the two, yeah, and so in the 286 meeting, he mentioned some statements that were made in a private 286 meeting. That is a problem.
It's just a venue to discuss those issues.
This is not that venue.
And I will yield my comment. Vice Mayor, you had a question?
I asked, what did you mean by forego, but I guess that's something you can't answer either, because
Well, I can answer a portion of that. At the 286 meeting, there was conversations had about how to resolve the issue. And I believe this, that board made it very clear how to resolve the issue, and we will move forward on that.
And stop me, please, if I am toting a thin line. With the recommendations of that board, does it? I'm choosing my words. Does it require any conversation with the attorney representing that side? Or any
By who?
review?
Does it require conversation from this side, or does it require conversation on the other side to say, do what we say we're gonna do?
Do the recommendations that were.
So let me say this, the recommendations that were made on the other side can be effectuated without any conversations on this side.
What about review?
Without any review, the conversation that was had on the other side can be effectuated without any review or conversations on this side.
I will hold my question to the appropriate venue. Do we have any other questions or comments regarding conflicts while we have Attorney Jackson here?
So in a nutshell, basically, this is not a conflict of interest.
No, sir.
It is, but it can be waived,
Yeah.
is what was said, correct?
The conflict can be waived by the parties.
Can be waived.
But lawfully, is it something that we can do? Like, I'm getting I wanna get a perspective from you, from a legal guidance. What I'm trying to do, in terms of trying to get an approval of, is this something that we could do legally,
Yes, sir.
for the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. And to be clear, because I continue to hear that that the town is suing itself. It's very clear that a community redevelopment agency is a separate, legal, distinct entity in and of itself. So the town is not suing itself. The CRA is not suing itself. These are two different entities that have had an issue to arise. And I don't want to get into how that issue arose, but there was an issue that arose that had to be rectified.
And if I may, I know we did have that 86, and I don't want to speak too much on it, I'm kind of like trying to choose my words, wisely. Will that, I think we've already pretty much resolved what we need to resolve. No, there's no more matter. There's no more matter. If I'm not, am I wrong or am I not wrong? Like, nothing been resolved.
The only other thing the only other thing that needs to be done on the other side is the go ahead to effectuate what the discussion was in the 286. That's the only thing that needs to be done. So either at the special meeting, or the next CRA meeting, directions can be followed per the discussion in the 286.
Councilwoman Randolph, did you have comments or questions?
No, that's not.
I have one more question. Is there any other colleagues of yours? If we decide to move into the direction of naming you as interim, is there any other colleague or associate of yours that we could look at to represent the town in that matter, considering that that case has not yet been dismissed?
So I have had some conversations with folks on the board. And there are names of attorneys that I would recommend to serve as the town attorney. A couple of names that come to mind.
I do not have any other questions. Any other questions or comments from the council before the vote?
No.
It has been moved in second, all in favor of appointing Attorney Greg Jackson as the interim general attorney for the town of Eatonville, signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Roll call, please.
Councilman Mack,
Aye.
Councilwoman Jordan,
Nay.
Councilwoman Randolph,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Thomas,
Nay.
Mayor Clinton.
Nay. Motion fails. Before you leave and advise that this is inappropriate, I know we have a public hearing session coming up. Is it wise to table this session until we establish?
Yeah, you cannot.
Yeah, okay. I just wanna make sure. Okay,
Yeah, so anything that's you can have discussion, but anything that has to be voted upon cannot happen without having legal counsel present.
So then you have the right to appoint someone, I'm asking.
I do have the executive authority to appoint,
Okay, good.
an emergency hire. Y'all know what I've been preaching for 5 weeks. Whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna do it together. So to me, it sounds like we're having another special meeting, another emergency meeting. I won't make that decision without consulting with y'all, and I won't make that decision without bringing some information to the table for you all to consider. That being said, I will.
I think we should strongly consider if you wanna pull down. That way we can get a real clear indication of what days are available. Because I know my schedule is tight, just doing everybody else getting up there, because I need to work for full-time job also. So I think we need to take that into consideration also.
Do y'all want to poll now?
Yes.
Poll now, poll now for this emergency meeting or special meeting.
Because I gotta get one immediately.
Director Mack wants to poll now instead of waiting for Ms. Bellinger to contact us individually.
Let's do it.
Next week, I'm not available any of this.
Special, I want to get
I
time.
think words gonna be more appropriate because of the nature.
But I want to give time to get that documentation for y'all to look at. I don't want to call y'all back tomorrow and then don't have options for you to consider. I know Attorney Jackson said he has a few, in case anybody else on this board wants to bring someone for the council to consider.
Attorney at this time.
We don't, but Attorney Shepherd has agreed to stand in the gap and collaborate with whatever we do. So I just want to give y'all some time. If y'all want to poll now, we can poll now. My first request is gonna be Friday. That's gonna be my first, recommendation.
I'm not available this week.
It's gonna be a special meeting then.
It would be a special meeting just because I want to give y'all 72 hours.
I'm available, I'm always make myself available, so I'm available.
Okay, so Friday, you can make happen, Friday, let's say 6:30,
6:30 is fine with me.
Friday, 6:30, Councilwoman Jordan. I got your no vice mayor, Friday, 6:30, Councilwoman Randolph. This Friday is the 24th, 6:30.
Okay.
And it's,
So what are we meeting for?
Meeting for the consideration of the interim attorney for the town of Eatonville until, or even a permanent.
You know, I'll think about it as long as it's not a, what you call it? Gripe session, because if we don't, if we're gonna do that and we're not gonna do it, then maybe you should do it as a workshop. And bring it so we can discuss it, but to sit here and argue and we get nothing done, absolutely positively.
Let's set it as a meeting, because if we do a workshop, we don't have the ability to vote. And if we decide on something on that night, I wanna give us the opportunity to vote. So we can do it as a meeting, as a discussion item, and then we can always pull a motion from the floor.
I'm not a better.
Councilwoman Randolph, Friday,
I don't
6:30.
know if I'll be available.
Okay, so it does look like we have a quorum. We do have a quorum. We do have a quorum, so
But you have a partial quorum. Do you want the full council or do you want partial?
I want all y'all to be here.
Okay,
That's
but
me.
then we're
That's me.
not, well, then we're Monday.
Okay, so let me get through Friday. So since Friday does not, since Friday there is a quorum. So I won't deny your meeting when there is a quorum. However, we should be aware that when there is only three, there is a requirement of 3 affirmative votes, not a majority. So if we are moving forward with Friday, we need to be aware of that. If we are not, and again, it can be discussion with the potential for decision. If not, then we can call for a second date.
but we definitely gotta have a discussion and decision.
We need to do them both at the same time. CAO Daniels.
Matt, if I can give you a recommendation.
Please.
It's definitely your call. Since you do have emergency hire power, to make it more feasible and all that, maybe you can invoke your emergency hire for right now. To be able to come in and handle the business, and then at a applicable time where you can have your full board and have enough time to bring people in, maybe next week. We poll for a different April special, so then y'all don't have to be rushed through this, and we making a good solid decision.
That's fine also.
I do not have a problem invoking executive authority. However, considering that we received these packets in advance, I have made phone calls in which I'm waiting to hear information back. So I'm not ready at this time to make an emergency hire. And again, I do want the input of this board before I do that. However, since Attorney Shepherd has offered to lend his services throughout this transition, I will give space for that discussion. If this board is amenable, we can do an emergency hire if he will accept it. And he's not here to accept it.
Well, the emergency
Would
hire
be-
is one.
My emergency hire would be Shepherd.
Right, so the emergency hire, to my understanding, will be your call, and then until the board can come together.
I understand that.
And bring someone in.
I understand that. If an emergency hire was gonna be necessary tonight, board, I did not want to have to go with Shepherd because you have made it clear that you wanna move in a different direction. So that was not going to be my option. I made other phone calls that have not been completed yet.
I think a phone call would be appropriate because
I do too.
it kind of defeat the purpose of even going through the steps that we're going through now. And I understand the basis of having an attorney for the town. And I don't wanna speak too much on the other side with CRA, but I'm a legislator now, so I gotta speak about the town side of it. Do we definitely need an attorney in place? Yes, we do. We can't even make decisions tonight moving forward without an attorney. I was in hope that we could hire the interim that I suggested, but his board seen otherwise, and I respect that. I'm not mad at anybody. I respect that. I'm not mad at anybody, I promise you, and I respect the duty of you too, Mayor, with, you know, with the integrity that you're displaying right now. I really do. Cause I can say for a long time, we haven't had that. And I respect for that, honestly. Sitting up here 10 years, I've been sitting up here, I totally respect that. Seriously.
Well, let's do this. We have poll for Friday. Do you all want to poll for Monday? Yes or no?
I'll take Friday, I'll be there.
We have a quorum for Friday. Ms. Bellinger, we are scheduled for a special town council meeting for Friday at 6:30 to discuss the legal counsel for the town of Eatonville. That brings us to reports. CAO, would you like to go first?
April
If
30th.
I may actually, for clarity, did we approve the consent agenda?
We approved the consent agenda with,
I know we did the approval of the agenda, but we did not. The consent.
oh, God, we did not, I apologize.
That needs to work on until.
We will table,
Yeah, because you can't make any decisions.
You sure can.
Yeah.
I think you tabled that.
we tabled the meeting minutes. I apologize, board, we did table the meeting minutes, we did not approve the consent agenda. We can table item number 2 with a motion to the next council meeting, the next regular council meeting. Is there a motion to table consent
Hold on, I have a
item?
question.
Yes, sir.
Are we even able to do that without legal?
We can
Because
motion to table.
everything that requires a decision has to be on the basis of having an attorney present due to ethics. And I just recently left the ethics and I just left for lunch and also that, kind of spoke on that. So I want to make sure that we're down the I's and crossing our T's in every event protecting the integrity of this board, because I don't want to sit here and do something that we don't supposed to be doing legally because we don't have legal sitting in that seat and, they come back to bite us.
So for safeguard, we just need to table this to the next time and then just put it on the next one.
Yeah, we just gotta table
Yes.
everything. Everything has to be tabled.
So there's a motion on the floor to table resolution, your approval of resolution, I'm sorry, the consent agenda in its totality to the next regular council meeting. First council meeting in May, is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved in second, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Now we are ready for reports, thank you, Ms. Bellinger, CAO Daniels.
April 30th, town hall will be closing at 3 p.m. We're having, hurricane readiness with all staff as well as law enforcement. We're trying to prepare ahead of time, and we will also use this as a training day. So town hall will be closing at 3 p.m. on April 30th, and we will conduct a meeting from 4 to 6. In the essence of everything that's going on, I'm just going to encourage everyone that we have to continue to put Eatonville first. If you really love something, then you take time to ensure that love on it. You don't just let it go by the wayside. And that's my report.
Ms. Bellinger,
I do not have a report.
we do not have council here tonight, Councilman Ryan report. Councilman Matt?
Yes, first of all, thank everybody for coming out this evening. I know a lot of times you look up here and, you know, everybody got an opinion and I respect that. But I got a tough job to do as a legislator and as a leader in this community. It's not always easy making the decisions that I make, but I want to make sure that I'm staying up front, making the best educated decision that I can make to make sure that the town has been successful at all times, not sometimes. And, let me start off by saying my condolences to anybody that has suffered in the loss, near or close, for, my condolences to my family. I just lost my uncle on last Wednesday, my mother's brother. So my condolences, to my mother and my family with that. And, also want to thank for all the presentations that we had tonight. I think we got some pretty, good presentations, especially from, Dr. Finley. You know, thank you for, you know, just having that vision to, you know, open your eyes and want to be doing some things in the community because we could easily be home now doing nothing, right? So appreciate everything that you bring to the table. And also, I don't, you know, get a pleasure of, you know, speaking and putting people on the radar too much, but, CEO, I have a very serious issue with you not responding to my, emails and correspondence, especially with the issues that I had with. And I think it's extremely unprofessional. I got a serious problem with that. And I'm gonna hold you accountable, you know, because if it was me as the mayor, I move to terminate you immediately. Seriously. So just be mindful of everything that, that you have to hold the duty of as a CEO. I know you work up under the, recommendations of serving the mayor, but you work for the town also. And for you to do what you did is extremely disrespectful and inappropriate. And I hope that you have a different change of, mindset when you, see anybody up here email you for that sake. And you just gotta be professional when it comes to things like that. I don't care if they say, Councilman, I get back with you. It's fine. It was a week ago that I sent that email out. But neither here nor there, hopefully we can get in a different direction than that. And then for also, Attorney Shepherd, no ill will against him. I don't hate nobody, I love everybody. But if I feel like the town is going in a direction that is not for the betterment of us, I'm gonna move forward with doing what I need to do. And just like elections have consequences. If you feel like I'm not doing the job and fighting for y'all, vote me out. Vote me out. Seriously. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna still be engaged. I'm gonna still come and do what I need to do as a citizen and as a resident. But I'm gonna fight for the integrity of this community at all times. At all times. I'm not gonna sit here and go against anything that I don't think is for the betterment of our community, period. So let's just keep that in mind also. So with that in a nutshell, I have no ill will against Attorney Shepherd. I just feel like we need to go into a different direction and turn a new leaf. That's it. And also, I can't even position myself to even add we're having a lawsuit standing against us right now, even though I know we do on certain things, but and the reason I can't do that because we don't have legal in place. You know, I try my best to put someone as an interim. That means temporary. It's not permanent. Even if you did it for a week, interim, until we can move forward permanently putting somebody in that position. But this board chose not to do that, and I respect that. I respect that. But we don't have legal conversations right now for this time, and that's a problem. And then also, like I said, I respect every citizen in this town, whether you like me or don't like me. I'm always do the will of the people. I'm always do what's right, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you set it up or think what's right or wrong. I feel like I did the right thing to move us in a different direction. Anybody that work in the corporate world know how it works. I work in the corporate world. If I'm not doing the duties of my job, they'll replace me. Period. They don't care who you are. If you're not doing what you need to do in terms of pushing their company, their organization, or their corporation in a way that is going to be profoundly good for them, they'll replace you. And I felt the same way with this attorney. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I love him, but I just feel like he wasn't the person that's going to move us forward and turn that needle and move that needle to make us, you know what I'm saying? Because we haven't done anything in this town significant. There ain't anything that we did in this town significant. We always talk about the 100 acres and the 17 acres. We did nothing. 15 years dealing with this problem. 15 years. I brought proposals to the table. Proposals to the table that could have that would have been passed, but the board that I saw up with declined it. So what are we doing? I hope and I'm praying that we can get some things done with the new mayor, and I respect you so much with the integrity that you carry. I've always told you that, and not just you, everybody that's sitting up here, whether you like me or not, I gotta work with you, period. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, at the end of the day, elections have consequences, okay? But always remember, boy, that Councilman Matt, boy, he gonna fight no matter what. I'm gonna fight, but I'm gonna fight with white gloves. I'm not gonna go back and forth with nobody. I'm gonna try to be as professional as I can. I'm gonna take criticism because I wanna be held accountable. Hold me accountable. If you feel like I'm not doing something, email me, call me, Councilman Matt. Listen, I'm the reason that a lot of things have got changed. I'm the senior person sitting up here. Me, the senior person sitting up here. The last 10 years. And we've done nothing significant in this town. How do you think that made me feel? It made me feel real bad because we haven't turned the curve. We haven't did anything of significance. What have we done constructively across this field here? Or anywhere? Besides one individual building homes. And if it weren't from that, what would we be right now? Are we talking about the integrity of agencies that Mr. Johnson said on, and I can't speak on that because that's a whole nother entity within the town. That's what people need to understand too. There's a great separation. But I ain't gonna get too much in that too, man. But like I said though, man, I respect everybody. I respect your decision, how you feel about me or whatever. But I'm gonna always be all right. I promise you, boy, you gotta have tough skin to sit up here for. You gotta have tough skin. But anyway, with that being said, I also heard some comments from citizens and people that don't even live in this community, subject to, I would say, disrespect. But like I say, you're entitled to speak how you want to speak when you're up here at the podium. Just as long as you're not swearing and doing things or threatening things. Hey, say what you want to say. I don't heard it all. I promise you, I don't heard it all. So say what you say. Say what you say. And I can guarantee you, I'm still love you. I'm still fight with integrity, and I'm gonna still protect you as my citizen. I promise you. no matter how you feel about me, just know at the end of the day, Councilman Matt is gonna fight. But I'm gonna fight with white gloves, man. Love you all. That's my report. Y'all have a blessed evening.
Yes, thank you, to the residents for coming out, to this, council meeting this evening, to Dr. Finley, fantastic presentation, and I've always been a fan of you and your work and your product, so keep up the good work. Just, how I feel about things, that we gotta continue to work here on the town side and make sure that we able to match it. Okay, so that is my real concern. On that issue, in terms of us, with the Attorney Shepherd, it's a tough call, y'all. And I'm concerned, I just wanna make sure that on the opposite side, that we get stuff taken care of the way that it does. And, certain things don't sit too great with me in that arena, but again, all I can say is thank you guys. Please continue your patience. I know it could perhaps be one then, but we're gonna get there, y'all. We're gonna get there, all right? Rome just wasn't built in a day. We're gonna get there. Thank you. My report.
Last man.
Just thank everyone for coming. I just have just a statement, and it's concerning about how we use the word love. And if this is how we love Eatonville, I really wonder how we hate it, how we don't like Eatonville. Because if this is love, I really want to be a part of it. And then to the residents and people that came, I do thank you guys for coming, but I would like, as a board, if we could be respectful of everybody's time. Let's not use these sessions as therapy sessions. These are my opinions, but let's be respectful of the people's time, that we have things to do as well. We have things that we need to do. There's not really a lot of arguing and debating back, because if you're really making the choice that's best for Eatonville, we wouldn't be in the predicament we're in. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll start out my report with, congratulations. I know he left to Mr. Washington. I think, all of us have been here long enough to see, the transition of Ben Smith Motel. I live fairly close to it and pass by it often. And it just, optics, it just looks better. I know that he is dealing with a lot over there. And so kudos to him for being able to, engage in a capacity that allowed him to mitigate some of the activity that was happening at the motel. I also want to extend some condolences to him. I was informed that he recently lost his father. So my thoughts and my prayers are with him. Losing a parent is extremely difficult. And so my heart aches for him. Nevertheless, thank you for the good work, Mr. Washington. I will address the decorum. Councilwoman Randolph, I want you to know that I did hear your concerns. I think the residents heard your concerns. Councilman Mack, I did hear your concerns. There is a need for civic engagement. And if we silence you when you stand up there, you will not engage. I made a commitment during my campaign to listen. And that wasn't just to the council, it is to the residents as well. We encourage you to stay engaged. We encourage you to keep showing up. We encourage you to hold us accountable. A lot of the times things happen in this community without voices being considered because they're not heard. We don't have to continue that narrative. Speak up. That's what we owe you. We are elected officials, but we are civil servicemen and women. So the way Councilman Mack says all the time, we work for you all. Don't stop talking. I want to acknowledge Leisure. I recently attended their charitable foundation gala fundraiser. For those of you who don't know, Traveling Leisure funds our early learning program over at Hungerford Elementary, the Hawk Haven preschool. I have children who attend that preschool, and it is amazing what they're doing over there. And so thank you to Travel and Leisure for their contribution to this community. If Hawk Haven is new to you, then you might be familiar with the scholarship program that they offer to our children at Hungerford. And while I was at the gala this past weekend, they gave a very special recognition to former Mayor Eddie Cole. It was under his administration that they became partners with this town to provide resources to our children. They are now in their 5th year of scholarships. And continuing on as well, they are doing an amazing work. If you have not had the chance to go down to Hawk Haven, I encourage you to go down there and visit. Those kids are so smart, and that is a direct impact on the work that Travel and Leisure has invested in. So thank you to Travel and Leisure, thank you to Dr. Harris over at Hungerford, to the staff at Hawk Haven. I got another one on the way. My last comments tonight are about, I'm sorry, I have 2. There was some recent activity this weekend, community. If you know, you know. Let's be safe. Okay? Gun violence is real. And it affects all of us on so many different levels. Gun education is real. Let's just be careful. Let's be very, very careful. Let's look out for one another. I'm not that old, but back in my day, there wasn't very much that you could do in these streets without quote unquote an OG keeping you in line. Let's look after our young ones. Let's look after one another. Loss of life to gun violence is unnecessary. My heart goes out to the family that lost somebody down, and I believe it was Lake Weston this weekend. Very close to this community. They are our neighbors. They are essentially Eatonville. I know we claim them. So very sad to hear about the activity that transpired in and out of our community this weekend. Let's be safe. My last comment in line with that is an acknowledgement of some domestic violence that has occurred across the nation, not just in Eatonville, as it pertains to violence and gun violence. I know everybody is probably aware. The vice mayor of Coral Springs just recently lost her life. There were about 3 or 4 other women recently that have lost their lives to domestic violence issues. In Louisiana, there were 8 or 9 victims. That it's senseless. Like Vice Mayor said, love is action. Let's just love on one another. And that is my report for tonight. Thank you all for coming.
I do have one more thing.
Yes,
sorry.
Ms. Bellinger.
We did receive a handout from the EPD. It's unverified data in a call list. I have this all.
Okay. Thank you very much.
What that is, Mayor, there's a uniform report to FDLE and FBI about crimes for 2024, 2025. Approximately we're down 50%.
Beautiful. Thank you for your contributions, Chief. That being said, I move for adjournment. It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. It is 9:15. We are adjourned.
This today, ladies.
Yeah, China.
Oh, yeah.